Welcome back. Well, now we turn our attention to the fight against corruption. We're joined now by Mr. Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
I saw an article yesterday in the papers where the head of the Presidential Advisory Committee was talking about, was describing our current fight against corruption. He used two words that he says it's selective and cosmetic. How would you describe our fight against corruption today?
With profound respect, I haven't read the article you're talking about, but the war against corruption that is ongoing deserves the encouragement of Nigerians, particularly the victims of corruption in our country. Soldiers who were denied arms and armament to fight the Boko Haram, menace. Those who could not access hospitals, young people who could not get jobs, and other victims of corruption. We have to own the war. If we simply leave it for the government, of course, you cannot remove allegations of prosecutorial selectivity and the rest of them. But if Nigerians insist that there has to be restitution, all those who have stolen the Commonwealth, or those who have taken our Commonwealth and reduced our people to poverty-stricken lot, have to pay dearly for their criminality. Unless Nigerians are prepared to wage the war against corruption much more seriously than the government, you cannot but have such allegations.
What specifically are you asking Nigerians to do?
Okay, I keep on saying this. When there was no EFCC or ICPC, official corruption was fought in Nigeria by the media. In fact, in the 70s, it was a case of if you tackle me, I double you. I'm sure you didn't. You are not likely to know what I'm talking about. At that time, there was a powerful minister. The most powerful minister under the Gowon regime was the late J.S. Taka. There was this businessman, Mr. Godwin Dabo, who simply went to the Lagos High Court, swore to an affidavit that this minister was corrupt. And from there, the press picked it up and feasted on it and ensured that until that powerful minister resigned, the press will not let go. But the situation is totally different now. The media is being accused of contributing immensely to the culture of corruption and impunity in our country. At that time...
By not doing the same thing they did at that time?
Oh, yes. Now, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and other forces of influence in the society are also being accused of corruption. So you now have a very difficult situation in our hands that no government alone, no government can defeat the menace of corruption unless Nigerians are prepared to say this is our battle.
Much as the media has a responsibility to report matters or what they see, but they also are mindful of Section 36(5), where it says a man is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So
no, that is not the issue. The issue is if anybody is accused of corruption, you don't just leave it alone. You don't look at it as the problem of the government. Oh, that is the problem of the EFCC. We must restore our ethical values. We used to have national morality. If a man has been accused of rigging an election, you don't celebrate him. Even those who have been removed from office, as former governors, by our courts, even by the Supreme Court, the press still refers to them as former governors, as if they were really elected. So these are areas the press has to look at. And the press has to be critical. Of course, I'm not blaming the press alone. I mean, I belong to a profession that perhaps contributes more to the promotion of impunity than other areas of the society. So, but as I'm saying, all of us have to agree that we have a serious crisis on our hands, like terrorism, like armed robbery, like kidnapping. But this one is more serious because kidnapping, terrorism, and the rest of them are sometimes manifestations of corruption.
You know, if you drawing from your conclusion or from your submission now, it would seem as if what we're seeing now, specifically the arms gate, without any specific mention of any name here now, because it is in court, you realize that it is spreading almost like on a daily basis or weekly basis. We're getting to see new names, new sectors coming into the fray. For instance, as you mentioned, the media, some of those organizations have also been mentioned. How big or huge? Because sometimes when the president goes out and some Nigerians say, wait a minute, you're giving the nation a bad name, you're painting the case of corruption out of proportion as if it is that big. Is it really big in Nigeria?
More than big. We are dealing with a dangerous level of corruption in most parts of the world. It is narco-terrorist drug bearers that are associated with taking land, moving humongous sums of cash. But where you have a country, a modern state, where officials of the government will invade the central bank like armed robbers and order that huge sums of money, on one occasion, $37 million in 11 Ghana must go bags, was taken out of the central bank. Or you order people to go to the central bank as if you are operating an ATM machine.
Well, I thought these are...
Huge sums are moved out. We have never witnessed this primitive level of corruption in this country. So that is why it is a very serious malaise.
Are you sure about that? I mean...
I'm very sure.
What happened?
I'm very sure.
What were the accusations against General Abacha?
No, what I'm saying is this. In that case, again, very interesting, it was the office of the National Security Advisor that was also moving money. But they didn't go beyond, at a goal, they didn't go beyond the $100 million. I have all the records. Forget what they said last week. I understand the Accountant General of the Federation presented a report to the National Economic Council last week and admitted that they had only recovered $2 billion from the Abacha loot. I have evidence of over $4 billion already recovered from the Abacha loot.
$4
$4 billion from the Abacha loot. And I can give you the details. I mean, without really going, to my office.
Let's have a bit of the details. Let's have the details of it.
Abdulsalami Abubakar Junta set up a panel of inquiry. That panel came up with a report to the fact that the late head of state, General Sani Abacha, stole about $5 billion from the central bank, but identified about $1 billion, largely removed in cash. And that government recovered over $1 billion and gazetted it. It is Decree 53 of 1999. Secondly, General Obasanjo, President Obasanjo continued with the recovery efforts. In the second volume of his book, I think page 494, the latest book, My Watch,